antsy you were to get back on the field for real, for practice and everything like that. He said something about a rep that he had you throw during spring to kind of get you.
Yes, sir. The last rep or the last day of spring practice, he threw me in for a 7-on-7, and it was good. I got a couple reps, and it felt good to get back. And that was kind of the only time all spring I had done a live rep in practice. So I'm definitely excited today to continue that.
How much have you been waiting for this opportunity to get back?
Man, it's been a long time coming. This summer, I got a good taste of running the offense with the guys. So I'm ready for today, and like you said, I'm just ready, to get out here with the pads with all the coaches, get some stuff on film, so I can get it watched, and I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I've been waiting for this for a long time.
Kyle, how much time have you been spending with Coach Huseman, getting used to his culture once it's still here, and what you guys want to accomplish as a team?
We've spent a lot of time this summer. He was in his office. I was in there, a few times, and we've talked a lot. And our goals, we have the same goal. We want to take it one game at a time, and make it farther than we did last year. And we have a lot of experience this year. A wise group of guys, and Coach knows that. And Coach, since the beginning when he addressed the team, he told us that it's our team. He knows that we have a lot of talent, and he said, we're the people that make the team go, not the coaches. They're just going to be there to guide us, like we've always had. So no matter what coaches are there, the players are what make it happen, and we're excited with the group we have this year.
You're about to go into your first preseason practice under Coach Huseman, but day one, is there any difference from any other preseason camps here at Richmond?
No, I mean, I don't think so. I just think one more year of experience, which means all the difference in the world as a quarterback. So I feel more comfortable out here. Maybe my first camp I didn't feel as comfortable, and like I said, this summer I got to spend a lot of time with the offense. So it's not new to me. I've been doing it all summer, and I'm just ready to get rolling.
How different is the offense? You have gone through a boatload of offensive
Absolutely.
coordinators since you've been here.
It's a lot different. It's a lot different. We're going to do some different things. We're going to spread the ball around, but in the end, football's football, and I'm familiar with all the plays. Like you said, I've seen a few different offenses, and a lot of stuff carries over. Maybe something from a couple of years ago, or a few things from last year, that we carry over to this year. But none of it's foreign to me, and I understand all of it. And part of being a quarterback is understanding the offense. So that's my my main job is to understand it and put it on the film this training camp, and learn from the mistakes, and progress day in and day out.
The way last season ended, obviously having to watch your team in the playoffs from the sideline on crutches, did you get a kind of different appreciation for football? I'm sure you've always loved the game, but I mean.
Absolutely. I kind of felt like a coach, when I went down, because obviously I couldn't play, but I had to be there for my team and kind of help them as much as I can. And the way I did that was, either sitting in film with the quarterbacks, or even if it's a receiver, something that I notice, I'm going to tell them, and they respect what I have to say, and that means a lot to me. And it was different, but I'm ready to get back playing and take on that role again.
The guy who took your place there, Kevin, he was outstanding. I mean, what's the dynamic like with you guys?
He's an awesome guy. He's one of my best friends, and we've worked awesome together ever since he's been here. He's been one of my biggest supports ever since I took over the starting job, and when I went down, there was nothing else I could do but to support him, wholeheartedly, and I respect the heck out of him, and he's a great kid, and he's right behind me, and I know that he's got a big arm and he can make all the throws, so he kind of pushes me and I push him in practice. So it's great to have that dynamic, with two quarterbacks right there.
Eric Hook is your quarterback coach. He dealt with this injury just like you did. Did you guys talk in the offseason about how he was able to come back? And did you?
Absolutely, yeah. He experienced the same thing that I did, and he just told me to take it one day at a time. The recovery is a long process. It gets tedious, but you just have to focus, and it's kind of gratifying getting one step closer, and like at the end of spring when Coach threw me in, it was really cool for me. It felt really good, and I just carried that into the summer, and as a senior, as a fifth-year senior, it's all about I think it's all about leadership and kind of gathering the guys together and leading the team as best I can, because we have the talent. There's no doubt about that. So it's important to have that core leadership in place, and I'm going to do the best I can to provide that for the team.
How beneficial is that? He's played your position at this school with the same injury. How beneficial has that been with him being your quarterback?
It's great. I can relate to him. He can relate to me, and sometimes we'll talk about certain plays, certain memories we've had. And he's even thrown himself up on the film room and said, "Oh, look at this one." And I've seen plenty of film on him, and he was a heck of a player, and I respect that about him. But he knows what I've been through, and he knows what I'm going to go through this year, and we have a really close relationship, so which is very important to me, and I think it'll lead to success on the field.
You talked about the talent. You look at the wide receiver position. You lose a guy like Brian Brown, then you bring in two transfers, one from Wake Forest, one from Temple. How do you feel about that position, considering one of your favorite targets may have been replaced with someone equally as good?
Absolutely. I feel great. Those two transfers, like you mentioned, they're really talented players. Even though they're relatively young guys, they seem way more experienced than that, so that's exciting to see as a quarterback. We worked a lot during the summer, and they understood what I was telling them, and they know how to run routes, they know how to get into the zone, and they can both really play. And other than those two guys, we have an outstanding receiver core. So maybe not as many yards on one guy this season, but we'll be able to spread the ball around, and we still have plenty of weapons.
The focus right now is on practice and getting better, but you do have to look a little bit ahead to Sam Houston State, that first game. Rather than playing FBS team, getting that chance to play in the top 10, does that provide a different kind of motivation for the beginning of the season?
No, I think this game is still going to be just as big, being broadcasted by ESPN. First game of the college football season down in Texas. We're traveling. We'll be down there a day or two before. It's still going to have that same feel to it, and I don't think we'll be any less motivated than we were last year. Sam Houston State is a powerhouse, and it's our job to take them head on, and it'll be a tough game, but those are the games you live for, and as players we're extremely excited.